Hello, fellow subscribers. What does this look like? Governments resigning worldwide. I shall be going through these individually. Then you will be able to research them one by one, because there are plenty. And then we will see what's the meaning behind this. The first link says that the Italian government has resigned. And it says that the Italian government's in crisis after Matteo Renzi's party quits. The exit of junior coalition partner in the middle of COVID-19 pandemic deals a blow to Giuseppe Conte's government. Italy's government, led by Giuseppe Conte, risks collapsing in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic after a junior coalition partner pulled out on Wednesday. Though the party is tiny, Conte relies on it to maintain his majority in parliament. And because of this, he will be unable to maintain his majority in parliament right now. So, Italian parliament is in crisis at the moment. Let's go to our next link, because we have quite a few here. Poland government has resigned. Polish foreign minister resigns. Second cabinet resignation this week. So here's another government in turmoil. And the foreign minister, which I will not attempt to pronounce, has resigned as part of a cabinet reshuffle. It comes as Warsaw seeks to plan an active EU role amid the Belarusian crisis. And this came after Health Minister resigned on Tuesday amid rising coronavirus infections and accusations of a bungled response. The Russian government has resigned except Putin, and this comes from BBC. Russian government resigns as Vladimir Putin plans future. And he's been deemed to stay in power till 2036 if he survives till then. Russia's government has resigned hours after President Vladimir Putin proposed sweeping constitutional changes that could prolong his stay in power. If approved by the public, the proposals would transfer power from the presidency to parliament. And there is speculation he could seek a new role or hold on to power behind the scenes. And I read as far as 2036. And what is he proposing? Vladimir Putin, Russia's action man president. And this is the foreign minister, Dmitry Medvedev. Let's go to the next link. "300 Italian politicians and police charged along with Italian mafia." Nothing new there. They've always had a mafia problem in Italy. The entire Kuwait government has resigned. These cookies are a nuisance. And Kuwait's government quits, deepening political deadlock. In Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait's cabinet submitted its resignation Tuesday, the latest development in a cycle of clashes between the government and lawmakers that long has convulsed the Sheikhdom, with the strongest parliament in Gulf. The move, while not a surprise after some 30 lawmakers backed a no-confidence motion against the government this month, reveals how the country's politicking has caused instability, diminished public confidence, and aggravated the oil-rich state's worst economic crisis in decades. Next link. Says here, Dutch government of the Netherlands resigns. Over child welfare fraud scandal. The Dutch government has resigned amid a scandal that saw thousands of families wrongly accused of child welfare fraud. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte announced the cabinet's resignation in an address Friday, saying that responsibility for this scandal ultimately rests with the incumbent cabinet and nowhere else. Under this scandal, around 10,000 families in the Netherlands were told to repay tens of thousands of euros of subsidies after being wrongly accused of child welfare fraud. A case where the government is milking their citizens. Next link. German Chancellor Angela Merkel steps down. And these are leaders of some of the strongest nations in the world. Merkel's party now has a new leader, Armin Laschet, who will lead the charge of the Christian Democratic Union in the September polls. It's the end of an era, as later this year the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, will step down from her position after serving the country for 15 long years, and as one of the de facto leaders of Europe, now her party has appointed a new leader. Only a few leaders can boast of a track record that can match Angela Merkel's record, serving as the German Chancellor for 15 years and counting. She has worked with 5 British prime ministers, 4 French presidents, 7 Italian prime ministers, and once Joe Biden takes oath, 4 American presidents. Now, one of the world's most successful politicians is stepping down. She is keeping the promise she made in 2018. Malaysian government steps down again from the BBC. How Malaysia's government collapsed in 2 years. It was seen as a historic turning point, an election that overturned a party which had been in power for more than 60 years. But less than 2 years later, the new government is out and the old ruling party back in power. So why did a coalition whose victory had ignited such hopes for change in Malaysia collapse so quickly? Malaysia has a new prime minister after a week of unprecedented political turmoil and uncertainty. Muhyiddin Yassin is an unassuming career politician who was ejected from the then government party UMNO in 2016. He joined forces with political heavyweights Mohammed and Anwar Ibrahim to form a multi-party, multi-ethnic coalition called Pakatan Harapan. Together they rode a wave of public anger over corruption to inflict the first ever election defeat on the UMNO-led coalition, Barisan Nasional. But the events of the past week, in which Mr. Muhyiddin brought down the government by defecting with more than 30 MPs and forming an alliance with his old party, have been a shattering blow to those who saw the 2018 election as a watershed, a new beginning for the country. And then it says here that we have a death of a Rothschild at the age of 57, and the Estonian Prime Minister has been fired in view of a scandal. Over corruption scandal in his party, Estonia's Prime Minister has handed in his resignation to the Baltic country's president after a corruption scandal investigated by the police and prosecutors in his center party led to key party officials resigning overnight. The move automatically prompts the resignation of Estonia's three-party coalition government. Estonian Prime Minister Jüri Ratas said early Wednesday on his Facebook page that he would step down as the suspicion expressed by the Public Prosecutor's Office does not mean that someone is definitely guilty, but there will inevitably cast a serious shadow over all those involved. In such a situation, it seems only right that by resigning myself, I will give the opportunity to shed light on all the facts and come to clarity, Ratas wrote on Facebook. And here we have Obamagate documents declassified, fully loaded with incriminating facts. I'm sure that would be worthy of a whole video by itself, but nonetheless, let's skim through them. President has delivered in a big way with declassification of major Obamagate documents, may be released as early as Friday, that is tomorrow. According to Fox News, Lou Dobbs, who today interviewed John Solomon, who was formerly an executive and editor-in-chief at the Washington Times, the remaining FBI documents on Russian collusion have been declassified and could be released as soon as tomorrow or Monday. Washington, D.C. in lockdown and panic. So, what is happening here? We're seeing worldwide turmoil in governments. In Revelation chapter 17, we read in verse 11, "And the beast that was and is not, even he, is the 80th and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." And our main sentence here that is pertinent to this video: these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So that is what is happening here. All these governments have one mind. They are serving an entity. They are serving the beast. Therefore, they all have one mind. They are sharing the same beast. And they shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And they will do so by resigning themselves and removing themselves from the spotlight so that the Antichrist can come on scene. So that in the world it will be seen that there is a lot of governmental chaos, and when the Antichrist comes on the scene, people will think that he is now going to solve the problems of not having a government, an acting government, and they will see him as their savior with a little s, obviously. So we are not only in the season of the Antichrist, we are also in the year of the Antichrist. Watch ye therefore, and pray unceasingly for your redemption, draw it nigh. God bless you all.